guys, welcome to the Silver Report. Here we are, it's Friday, March 17th, 2017, and we have gold currently trading at $1,228.80. Silver's trading at $17.41, and let's get right into some of the economic factors that are playing a part into the price of precious metals. Now, we had recently some significant developments taking place in India. And so, one thing that has taken place, the Prime Minister, his government has spent the past 16 months trying to persuade the Indian people to deposit their jewelry and gold in the bank to earn interest. He offered them a high interest if they would just only give them their gold. And now, what was the move that India took that brought on this massive capital outflows? India wanted to take away the high denomination banknotes in its currency. It also had discussions about moving over to a digital currency. And so what happened was that the Indian people began buying gold hand over fist, so much that they had to curb imports. And they also needed to add a 12% tax on silver purchases because they also have begun to rush into silver. And so the damage of this is the same tactic that takes place around the world. This is the reason for all precious metals manipulation. And so, in an effort to curb the soaring imports of the precious metal, the program has only lured a tiny fraction of the 900 billion of gold that the families and temples are estimated to have stashed away. On the other hand, Modi's controversial decision to withdraw all high-value banknotes did the job instead. The government tried, but the people are not coming forward, is what they're saying. And so, the position right now, the current account side is relatively comfortable. Gold doesn't pay interest, remember? It's a barbarous relic held by central banks as a tradition, right? This is why the countries all around the world want to acquire so much gold. This is why when we see things like meetings taking place between China and Saudi Arabia that aren't broadcasted widely on the news, contracts that are being signed for goods, trade, and new oil deals are so dangerous because Saudi Arabia is what holds together the petrodollar status, as well as the might of the American military. But what we see taking place in these developments is that gold is a great fear of these central banks. This is what all the countries of the world, this is what governments are buying right now, all around the world. They went through the crisis, and they're fed up. They're fed up with the dollar. They're fed up with the endless printing of money. So I guess we should be a little confused as to why the Indian government wants the 20,000 tons of gold held by the people. Oh yeah, that's right. Gold is money. It represents freedom, independence. They're able to take loans in a difficult time. They're able to borrow on it. They're able to hold their own wealth in their possession. This is the thing that all governments hate. All governments, whether they feign freedom or a dictator, they hate independent people and citizens. So the ability to own gold is an uncontrolled, as they print more money, gold becomes more valuable in their devalued currency. The value of gold never really increases. The price rises as a result of the currency appreciating or depreciating. And so the Indians, they like their gold and they want to keep it. They want to protect themselves from thieving government officials. They don't trust the banks. They don't want to put their money there. And it's something that takes place all over the world. Whenever governments come in and they step in and they try to make something like gold or silver illegal, whenever they try to alter the currency patterns, and what we see is some very dangerous signs. And in reference to that development going on between Saudi Arabia and China, we already know that China and Russia, they have been selling oil. Russia's been selling oil to China for gold on the Shanghai Gold Exchange. They've been doing private deals, and it's something the country highly covets. It's been working tirelessly to accumulate as much gold as possible, so this is a very favorable circumstance for Russia. They don't need to traffic or denominate it through US dollars, as well as Saudi Arabia going over and making deals. We see Iran no longer is using the US dollar, but it wants to trade with China and Russia. because there are sanctions, so it doesn't have many countries left to be able to deal its oil to, or its natural gas that is swamped in over there. And so what we see, these developments are so dangerous for the petrodollar. People are failing to understand the dangers that this country is in as a result of the collapsing dollar. See, the countries around the world, they're fed up with it. And this is the reason that there's such a grab for gold. This is the reason they developed ETFs. This is the reason they manipulate the price of precious metals. So many people had questions about that. But it's because it is money. And because whenever there's crisis or chaos, so many people suddenly remembered that and were attempting to accumulate as much gold and silver as possible because they were printing mass amounts of money, and they knew that their money would be worth less sitting in the bank, that there'd be low interest rates, so they're not gaining interest, they're losing money in the stock market, so the only alternative is to move it into gold, to not play their game anymore. All right, thank you guys for joining me here on the Silver Report. If you like the content, be sure to subscribe, like the videos, share the videos. Thank you guys all so much for being a part of the show. As always, stay safe.